welcome to this week's episode of Pre-Match Drills. On the show this week, we catch up with our old friend Jacko from BBC Manchester to get the lowdown on Bolton Wanderers. Plus, we have a festive treat for you in every single goal that Wycombe Wanderers have scored this season so far. But first, let's catch up with the Gaffer. Gaffer, final home game of 2024. I guess a chance to reflect back, not on this season so far, but the year we've had.
Yeah, I think I was just discussing it with Sam. I think it's got off to a good start, didn't it? On New Year's Day, it was obviously a great start for us. A tough home game against Bristol Rovers at that point. And the boys played with real intensity and energy. Even with 10 men, we were excellent. And that form's kind of carried on through the calendar year for us, which we've been really, really pleased with. We want to finish on a high on Friday night if we possibly can. We've got a really tough game against top opposition, but it's been a really good year for us as a football club, as a staff, as a group of players, and especially at home, we had some good results. Been able to celebrate a nice number of goals, and we hope to finish it on a high on Friday evening.
Before we recorded this, I put together all of the goals that we've scored so far this season. There's lots of them, which is wonderful, but also the thing that really struck me was the variety of goals and the variety of goal scorers. That must be really pleasing for you and your staff. Yeah,
I think it's obviously something that we went after in the summer, especially the last two transfer windows, trying to add some extra pace and energy at the top of the pitch, which we were really fortunate to be able to do. And I think the competition within the squad, the respect that the lads have been treating each other with, and understanding that sometimes it's a start, sometimes it's as a finisher, and really being able to retain that energy and intensity at the top of the pitch has been really important for us. So it's enabled us to really refresh the team on a regular basis. And the number of goal contributions that we've had from our finishes, the number of goals we've been able to score from 60 minutes onwards has been very, very nice. And it's really enabled us to have some exciting moments, especially at the end of the games.
So looking ahead to our opponents on Friday night, Bolton Wanderers, it's been a slow start to the season, but they've steadily crept their way up. And if they win their game in hand, they're in that top six and they're well placed.
Yeah, I was just, again, saying to Sam, it's probably it's slightly natural that, losing in the playoffs would have a little bit of a hangover at the start of the following season. You've got all that disappointment and what nearly was, but not quite, a slight evolution of their group, a slightly different formation at the start of the season. And, it's hard to keep attaining those high level of results when wins are expected so often. So I think it was slightly natural, but they've really built their season and they've got a very good team. Really well coached. It's a huge football club in our league. Supporter base is massive. Ian's done a fantastic job over a number of years, got a very, very good squad. Got a couple of suspensions and injuries come Friday evening, as have we. So, we had two good games against Bolton last year, and I'm expecting and hoping that Friday will be the same.
Their fans will put pressure on themselves. Is that early goal or first goal really crucial on Friday? It always is, I guess, in League One.
Yeah, it happens a lot, isn't it? And, in terms of trying to get your noses in front, I think it's about playing with that energy and intensity, but we have to keep our control and discipline and structure, absolutely, because we're playing against top opposition. And if we're erratic with that, then we'll get punished. So, for us, mate, it's about attacking the game the best we possibly can, but making sure that we're very organised out of possession and try and implement ourselves in possession. I'm sure Ian will be saying exactly the same thing to his team. If we can get our noses in front, that would be great. But we have to play with control and make sure that we're performing for the longevity of the game, because, like I say, it promises to be a good event, and I'm looking forward to the game.
One of the other things I sort of picked up on putting together this montage I did earlier on, if Wycombe do go behind, it hasn't really been a problem this season, has it?
Not as much as maybe it was last season. I've been really pleased with that comes from scoring and winning and winning. Winning breeds confidence and belief breeds winning. So I guess that's helped. The competition within the squad, the intensity that we've got, especially at the top of the group, top of the pitch, with the numbers that we've had to be able to rotate and refresh, has helped as well. So there's probably been a number of contributing factors. And I think it's just about trying to stay calm with it as well. If you go behind, there's still so long, and we don't want to get anxious with it. We don't want to add pressure to ourselves. It's about still trying to play with the same identity. But they're only words. It's up to the players, as I've said before, to go and do it. And it's all to them, really. The way they've played. Even, it was a tough game for us Saturday against Shrewsbury, and they found some real quality moments. and we hope to be able to find some more.
It's been a relentless season. The pace has been relentless, and Christmas is very, very busy. And then after that comes January, which has its own different challenges away from the pitch as well. So you can't sometimes look at this and think, wow, this is literally non-stop.
Absolutely, yeah. Days off, there's no such thing anymore as a manager. You think that the summer's going to be quiet because there's no games, but you're doing recruitment. Then you think that you get into the games, but then they're thick and fast. The amount of preparation, pre-match and post-match that goes into it. The January transfer window is nearly upon us, so the preparation for that is obviously extreme. The number of games we've got over Christmas is relentless. So it's great. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the world that I know. It's the world that I love. So yeah, it's full on, mate. But it never lets you stop, and that's what I love.
And one player that won't be taking part now for Wycombe Wanderers moving forwards is Jason McCarthy, who's left the club now by mutual consent.
Yeah, Jace, we've obviously been in constant discussion throughout the season. There's not been enough football for Jace for what he deserves and for what he requires, which is absolutely fine. Jack Grimm has been incredible for us this year, as has Jasper when he's got his opportunities. And unfortunately for Jace, there's just not been as much football as what he needs and where he's at in his career. So he's dealt with everything with real dignity. He's an incredible guy. I've known him for a number of years now. 4 spells I think he's had here, and he's been great for us over a number of years. So he leaves with our love and our best wishes for both his personal and professional life. It's sad to see him go, but he goes with our best wishes, and I only hope good things for Jace.
And as a manager, you'd have experienced decisions like this as a player and waiting on things like that. So as a manager, I guess you have a great deal of empathy when it comes to making these decisions.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to live life, mate, with sort of empathy and compassion. It's a tough life being in football, in employment in general, especially being around Christmas time and having families and everything, all the pressures that life brings to us all these days. So, yeah, I totally get that it's not an easy situation for Jace, which, we've been open and honest. There's been constant dialogue throughout the season, and I'm just glad that he's able to find peace with this, and he's able to enjoy, Christmas at home with the kids. And I just hope he has a lovely time. And then when the new year comes, he can continue his career.
And finally, final home game of the year. A message for the fans, because obviously Christmas is great for football fans and Wycombe Wanderers fans as well. So a message to the fans heading into this busy festive period.
Yeah, I think as always, it's a heartfelt thank you for their support of myself and the team. More importantly, as a group, I feel like we've grown quite a bit through the calendar year, and we're just really grateful for their support. The way they cheer us on at home, the way even through the tough moments of the previous year, they're always there for us. Wembley was a tough moment, and they were there for us. And we've had some good times as well. So thank you for your support. I hope you enjoy Friday evening. Have a great Christmas, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you back at Adams Park in the new year.
The final home game before Christmas, and it's the Battle of the Wanderers. Bolton Wanderers coming down to Adams Park in what promises to be a Christmas cracker. There's the cliche. And to find out more about the Trotters, we've got Jacko, who covers the Wanderers for BBC Radio Manchester. Jacko, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good as gold. All the very best. A very peaceful, prosperous New Year, and all the very best for Christmas to all your fans. And as you say, a double dosing of Wanderers just before Christmas. That's a present right there, isn't there?
Exactly. It doesn't get better than that, does it? A Friday night before Christmas.
It'll be the best present I'll be getting this Christmas. I can assure you of that, Tim. It really, really will. Yeah.
So tell me about Bolton, because from the outside looking in, it hasn't been the best season, but looking at the table, very well placed, win the game in hand, and you're in the top 6. And if you've done that without hitting your top gear, that's not a bad sign.
No, I don't think it is. I think, listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Listen, we talk about football here, sport in general. Some people think it has been disappointing so far. If you want my opinion, I think it's been okay. They're still handily placed. I don't think anybody with the greatest respect in the world win the world. And I do have a lot of time for Wycombe, I have to say. With the greatest respect in the world, I think everybody in this league is surprised by to go to top the table. But well done. And I think it's great for football. I really, really do. Mind you had to nick a Bolton Wanderers player to help you to get to the top of the table, didn't we? But I'm sure we'll get onto that subject soon. But how is Moss? I'm sure he's doing okay for you guys. But listen, no, look, well, you've just nailed it by saying that. Look, all is not lost. We haven't even got to the Christmas period. I always think there's two sections of the season that will really determine, really tell you, the intricate details of what might happen. I think the Christmas festive period is one, and obviously Easter is the other. Unfortunately, if it goes wrong at Easter for anybody, I just think you're running out of time to repair the potential damage. Not impossible, but running out a bit of time. Christmas, not quite as bad. Listen, for me, they're doing okay. They're handily placed. And I know they've just suffered a defeat which hasn't gone down very well with the Wanderers fans, and why would it, quite frankly? And listen, Bolton Wanderers, the players, everybody connected, they're not daft, they're not stupid. They understand that, they accept that, and they'll be trying the best to repair that. I won't say collateral damage, but to get a better result and a better performance than they produced against Wigan at the weekend. But that would go for any team in an under 11 school game when I used to play. That would go for you. If you just lost, you want to win the next one. So listen, I think you've nailed it. I don't think it's been as bad as some people are predicting or even suggesting. But I would say, you can't get away from this fact. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and there's a part of me that I think a lot of this goes back to the defeat by Oxford at Wembley last year.
Absolutely.
I'm still not into. Look, you can't do anything about this now. I still think there's a little bit. We're in the hangover period, aren't we, with Christmas? So I think there's a little bit of a hangover period, from that defeat at Wembley, and that came completely out of the blue, totally completely out of the blue. But that's football. That's why we like it. Listen, would it be as good any sporting contest if you knew who was going to win before a ball was bowled, before a pass was thrown in rugby league, before a ball was kicked in football? Well, don't give me the answer because I know it. No, it wouldn't be as good.
Well, Wycombe sit top of the table, and one of the things that the Bolton fans have tabled to Ian Evatt is the fact that Wycombe have had Aaron Morley in midfield, and he's been excellent, really enjoying his football. And Bolton fans are wondering why he's putting up trees for a rival in League One. Is there pressure to bring him back in January?
I won't say there's pressure to bring him back. There's an option to bring him back, and obviously that will, I've no doubt, be discussed in due course, and probably already has been discussed. Listen, I think in terms of Aaron, I think he'd be the first to admit. I mean, he wasn't playing regularly at Bolton. That's a fact. Whether the opinion about whether he should have been allowed to go out on loan anywhere, that is opinion. But the fact is, he wasn't playing regularly at Bolton. To be honest with you, I think this is a win-win situation all round. It's a win for Wycombe because they've got a good player who's performing at a very high standard. It's a win for Bolton because he's playing well and should do his confidence, an awful lot of good. And the biggest win, Bolton, I suppose, are in the box seat here because they can decide to bring him back, as I understand it, if they prefer to go down that option. I don't know. I'm sure discussions, as we're chatting here, I'm sure discussions are taking place, in terms of what to do next. And it's a win-win for the player himself, by the way. No question. I mean, listen, let's be perfectly truthful about it. Even Aaron, I don't think. Look, as I've said previously, I think this is great for football. I really, really do. I've always had a soft spot for Wycombe, but it's great for football. It's a win-win for Aaron. It's a win for Bolton. It's a win for Wycombe. But, all those wins are okay as long as you don't get one on Friday.
I was going to say, we can't all win on Friday. Aaron Morley won't be playing because of the loan restrictions. Dan Harvey suspended for Wycombe, but there's a couple of suspensions in the Bolton team as well for yellow cards, isn't there?
Yeah, Ricardo Santos and Joyce Johnson have both been suspended. I've got to say, some of the... I don't want to be critical of officials. They do what they do. We couldn't do without them, and generally they do a good job. But I'm talking in general terms here. I'm not talking now in specific terms for any particular players, but some of the bookings this season I've seen. Look, we're back to the old chestnut, aren't we? Can we have a bit of consistency? I'm not just talking about Bolton players here. I've seen players playing against Bolton, I'm thinking, is that really a booking? Is it just a missed time challenge? Are you not allowed to do that nowadays? Anyway, you're right. George Johnson, 5 yellow cards. Ricardo Santos, 5 yellow cards. So they will have to be replaced. But, I'm a massive believer in, when one door closes, another one's open. It's an opportunity for somebody else. And it is. And it's just like, that's been an opportunity, I think, going back to Moz. That's been an opportunity for him to play himself probably back into a bit of form. He's playing regular football. Look, I can only speak on behalf of me. And if I was a football player, I'd want to go, you don't have you might get disappointed. It's not a disagreement or anything he's had with Bolton, but any player, if that was me, my circumstance would be, I'd rather go and play regularly at Wycombe than irregularly for any other team, if you know what I mean. So, like I said, it's a win-win situation. But yeah, you can't deny the fact that they will miss those two players because they're both very, very good for Bolton, and both have been as well. Yeah.
Do you think it might? Do you think it might force Ian Everett's hand in terms of changing formation because he's sort of very wedded to the back three without Santos there? Does he think maybe of looking at a 4?
You're asking me to tell you what the Bolton manager is thinking.
That's how much I hold you in regard, Jacko.
That is entirely down to him. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just being honest. I don't know, and I wouldn't even hazard a guess. Systems, methods of play. I always leave that down to the. That's their responsibility. Mine is to commentate on what happens on the field of play. Honestly, I wouldn't know. What I would say, though, definitively, he'll have to find 2 replacements for Ricardo Santos and George Johnson. And listen, I've just got a feeling that I think Friday will be a very interesting game. Mo Star. And I've got to mention this as well. I hope you don't mind. I think there's been a nice bond between Bolton and Wycombe Wanderers, and that goes back to the first game of the season in August 2019.
Yes, when
Bolton, they didn't have a team at 11:15 of that game. They were signing play. In fact, I nearly got an opportunity to sign myself, I think, with Parky. There were 2 Parkys were in charge then, Phil Parkinson and Steve Parkin. It was just absolute mayhem and chaos. 8 debutants for Bolton on that day, if you remember. And I know Wycombe won by 2-0. But I always felt that was a little bit of a bond. And just to remind everybody, remind the Wycombe fans and the Wanderers fans as well, I suppose, it was that Remembrance Day when Sharon Britton was leading the consortium to take over Bolton Wanderers. And she would ask that question by a Bolton fan as she's walking through the entrance to Wycombe Wanderers' official entrance. Is it done yet? And it did get done. So thanks a lot for that to Sharon and everybody concerned. They were really, really awful, difficult times for Bolton Wanderers. Don't want a repeat of them. And that's why I'm a bit hesitant to say when you ask the question about, form this season, it's not a million years ago, is it? It's 5 years ago, last August, when Bolton, let's not beat about the bush here. They were very, very close to becoming, almost extinct. Unfortunately, we lost a fantastic club in Bury up here as well. And from that moment onwards, I've always thought that there's been a nice bond between Bolton and Wycombe Wanderers. But it won't stop Bolton from winning.
It does put things into perspective a bit. And also, I don't want to bring up the playoff final again, but we were all supporting you guys because obviously Oxford are our neighbours.
Yeah.
And we were just as disappointed as you lot when you didn't turn up at Wembley in May. So, but yeah, I think that was also a really valid point you made at the start of this conversation, that when you lose a playoff final, it can take a few months to get that out of your system. And like we say, looking into Friday, I think Bolton are well placed for the second half of the season. I'm hoping the run for the finish line doesn't start on Friday night for you guys. I'm hoping we get the result. But either way, Jacko, it's going to be a great game. It'll be great to see you down at Adams Park. Safe journey down, and a happy Christmas to you and all the Bolton fans.
Yeah, could I just give a shout out to, I've got my best pal retired to Lanzarote about 10 years ago, and one of his best pals is Cliff. He's a massive Wycombe supporter. Okay. So Cliff, I don't want you to win on Friday, obviously, but beyond that, I wish you all the best. And I say again, I think what Wycombe have done so far this season, I just think it's good for football. Somebody jumps out, let's be honest, you've jumped out of the woodwork, you've done very, very well, played some great stuff as well, but you know, I need to remind you once more, you've done it with the help of a Bolton Wanderers player. So you owe us. So let us win on Friday.
Jacko, we look forward to seeing you there, mate. Top stuff. Always good to hear from Jacko. Should be a great game on Friday night. But what's happened before then? Well, we've got all of the goals so far this season. Strap yourselves in. It's quite a ride.
Put it all together. Here's Butcher now. And Kone! Richard Kone gives the League One side the lead at the Swansea.com Stadium. And that's a lovely finish as well. Goalkeeper's expecting it the other side. Credit must go to Butcher for the build-up play. Wycombe have given it a right good go, but it's Aston Villa who will go with the ticket to the next round. Kone may have hit a hand there, but it does hit the back of the net. Barely any time left to play, but Wycombe have their goal.
Well, Emery's face said it all. He could sense, I could sense just that lack of concentration amongst the Villa defenders. Talk of a handball in there from the Villa players, but desperate appeals are not going to be heard.
to get off to a good start here, and they have a penalty. Verily Lubala is fouled. Now Luke Leahy tucks it away. 14 gone, and Wycombe lead by a 1-0. Pearce was in a bit of space. The ball didn't come through to him though. A chance maybe here for Cordua. Oh, it's a lovely finish. 2 in 7 minutes. It's Leahy to hit it and finds the top corner. 3-1 Wycombe. Lubala. Oh, it's a glorious goal. An absolutely wonderful free kick. And Wealdstone now really counting the cost of their failure to take some really good opportunities.
Well, I'm sure that Luke Leahy is saying on the bench, well, he's obviously been copying me, what I've been doing recently. That is a phenomenal strike from Lubala. It's all about 25 yards. The goalkeeper can see this early, but there's no way that he's getting that ball. It's right in the top corner, just shaves the crossbar and post.
Where Kretschmar was.
Kone on the march. Kone finishes the tie. Wycombe Wanderers top scorer shows those finishing instincts again. And while Wealdstone have fought well and created many a good opportunity, their FA Cup dreams look to be over.
That's it for this week's show. Many thanks for tuning in. See you on Friday night at Adams Park under the lights for the final home game of 2024. And what a year it's been. In the meantime, happy Christmas and come on you Blues.